Cadet Instructor Vrel surveyed his mixed-species combat class with satisfaction. 50 cadets from 20 different worlds, all eager to prove themselves in the Galactic Defense Academy. His eyes settled on the human girl sitting in the back row, Emma Rodriguez, 17 standard years old, who hadn't spoken a single word in 3 weeks of classes. Today, Vrel announced, his scales rippling with anticipation, we have a special demonstration. Apex Warrior Crackstull of the Vorgoth has volunteered to show you what true combat mastery looks like. The doors opened and Crackstull entered. 9 feet of pure predatory evolution, covered in armored plates that had turned aside plasma fire. He'd won the Galactic Combat Championship 7 times. His species had conquered 12 worlds through martial prowess alone. Every cadet straightened in their seats, except Emma, who simply watched with those unsettling human eyes. Who volunteers to spar with our champion? Vrel asked, expecting silence. Emma's hand rose slowly. The class erupted in nervous chittering and whistles. Crackstull's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. The human girl was barely 5.5 feet tall, thin, unremarkable. She'd been mediocre in every physical test. Are you certain, Cadet Rodriguez? Vrel asked carefully. Humans were Deathworlders, yes, but this seemed like suicide. Emma nodded once and walked to the sparring circle. She didn't stretch. Didn't warm up. Just stood there, weight balanced, hands loose at her sides. Still silent. Crackstull entered the circle, radiating confidence. I will be gentle, small human. Emma's expression didn't change. The instructor activated the timer. Begin. Crackstull moved first, a testing strike, pulling his punch to avoid actually hurting the girl. Emma wasn't there. She'd shifted 3 inches to the left, just enough. His second strike came faster. She ducked, not wasting a single unnecessary motion. Then the Apex Warrior made his mistake. He committed to a full power strike, the kind that had shattered reinforced walls. Emma moved inside his guard like water finding a crack. Her hand snapped out, not a punch, a precise strike to a nerve cluster most species didn't even know existed. Crackstull's arm went numb. Before he could process what happened, Emma's foot swept his leg, using his own momentum against him. The Apex Warrior fell. But Emma wasn't done. In the half-second he was off balance, she struck twice more, nerve points that only a Deathworlder's database would catalog. Crackstull's other arm went dead. Then his leg. He crashed to the mat like a falling tower. Emma's hand hovered over his throat, fingers positioned at his primary oxygen intake. She could crush it with minimal pressure. The entire sequence took 4 seconds. Yield? Emma asked. Her first word in 3 weeks, barely above a whisper. Crackstull's eyes were wide with something he'd never felt before, fear. I yield. Emma stepped back, her breathing barely elevated. She returned to her seat without a word. The class sat in stunned silence. Instructor Vrel scales had gone completely pale. Perhaps, Vrel said carefully, someone should explain to me why a human teenager wasn't flagged as a high-level combatant. Another human cadet, James, raised his hand. Sir, Emma's family runs a dojo on Earth. She's been training since she could walk. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, Krav Maga, and some stuff her grandfather taught her that doesn't have a name. She's quiet because her sensei taught her that talking wastes energy you could use to observe. Vrel looked at Emma, who sat calmly, showing no pride or satisfaction. Just watching. Learning. The way an apex predator studies prey. And you let her enter the basic combat class? James shrugged. She wanted to see how other species fight. Said she'd learn more by watching than by being watched. Crackstull slowly regained feeling in his limbs. He approached Emma's seat, his posture completely changed, no longer a champion, but a student before a master. "Teach me," he rumbled. Emma finally smiled, small, but genuine. "Okay." That day, the Galactic Defense Academy learned that the most dangerous Deathworlders weren't the ones who roared. They were the ones who watched, learned, and struck with absolute precision when it mattered. The silent ones who'd been raised in a world where everything wanted to kill you, where survival meant mastering violence so completely you barely needed to use it. Emma Rodriguez never spoke much. But after that day, nobody ever mistook her silence for weakness again.